You are listening to the CittaCalcioUsa show, the only news and podcast in English about AS Cittadella. Hello everyone, welcome back to the CittaCalcioUsa show, episode number 152, coming to you on Thursday, December 12th. The nightmare continues for Cittadella, another record defeat, this time at the hands of Spezia in La Spezia at the Stadio Alberto Pico. 5-0 defeat on Sunday. Citta in desperate need of an answer as 2024, the nightmare year of 2024, comes to an end very soon as they get ready for another difficult match, probably the last match of this run of facing teams in the top 8 against Cremonese this upcoming Sunday at the Tombolato. We have a special guest here. We've had him in the past before. I believe this is his third time on the show. We've talked to him previously against after the match against Sassuolo in the Coppa Italia, where the landscape looked a lot different for Cittadella at that point. But we're very glad to have him back. Please welcome back Carlo Cecino from Il Corriere Del Veneto. Carlo, how are you?
Hi, Jake. First of all, thank you for inviting me in your podcast. Yes, it's the third time with you. The last time the situation wasn't so difficult in Cittadella, and now it's as we said at the start of the podcast, the worst year for Cittadella in the last decade. And now I'm fine. I hope you're fine. And but yeah, I'm not so good because I wrote for Cittadella, and it isn't easy writing for a team that hasn't won a game. Has won just a game in the last 2 months.
Yeah, only won one home game since January, so it's definitely hard. Since I just said, this is your first time back since that Sassuolo game, so a lot has happened since then. I don't think we expected Cittadella to be struggling this much, but how have you been these last few months covering the team? You've you're a regular in the Confidenza Stampa, the last time we talked, even Cittadella changed their managers, so from going from Guarini to Dal Canto. How has it been in the the Tribuna, just writing for the Granata?
It's like it was, and it's like a roller coaster, because for the first time in 25 years, Cittadella has changed coach. It was like a revolution for the team, for all the city, and for the fans, for all the fans. It's not an happy moment, because my feelings are that in this moment it's very hard for the team, for the club, to find a solution to figure out that difficult moment, because in these 3 months it was a very every game the team is like that, is going down again, and there isn't a way to lift it up, to make some good games, to earn a win, to win a battle, to gain an episode in the game. It's like the team is struggling, but the squad hasn't the power to overcome this period. And as you said, there was the change of coach, but Dal Canto in these games hasn't improved something in the team. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that the team is the same as the team who played when Guarini was the coach. And we talked prior the first game of the season against Salernitana. It was the game in Sassuolo, and Cittadella lost just 2-1. Then there was another game in Sassuolo in Reggio Emilia, but Cittadella lost 6-1. It was at the mid of October, and there was a revolution, the change. Dal Canto has come, but 2 months after the arrival of Dal Canto, the team lost 5-0 in Spezia 4 days ago, and you can think, but how it's possible? Because we changed the coach. We hope that the team could come better in the next games, but after 2 months, the team shown the same mistakes, the same fragility. So the feelings are these feelings are, I don't know how to explain, because I didn't know, and I don't know how Cittadella could make some wins, because also the environment, the fans are so
hostile, like just angry. Yeah, that's
angry,
a good word.
angry, and sad, because there isn't a light that can fire the team. And I know that you watched every game, and I think that you are the same opinion, but you can tell me what do you how do you think, what do you think
Yeah,
Cittadella could come back?
yeah. I mean,
Cittadella that we knew the last years.
yeah, like you said, it's something that like we've never really seen before in this Cittadella squad. And yeah, kind of going back to Dal Canto, it's a very interesting take because I actually saw a graph made by Rigorosamente Cittadella a few days ago on their show. Is actually Guarini had more points after his first, what was it, 8 games, I believe. You know, I think we have to give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt to Dal Canto because he is inheriting a team that he wasn't built by him. He wasn't.
Yes,
This is
yes,
not.
yes.
You know, he only had a week to kind of prepare and get the first game out against Cosenza. And you know, I think after the January market, it's going to become more of a clear answer on what's to do. But yeah, moving on to the kind of the main thing I kind of want to talk is the Spezia match. Obviously, we kind of already said it already. Another bad defeat, 5-0 at the Stadio Alberto Pico last Sunday. It's another record defeat. As you recall, the match against Sassuolo, the 6-1, which eventually led to Guarini losing his job. That was the largest defeat in club history, or at least in the professional club history, wherever they've been in the professional leagues. They've never lost by 5 goals, and that has happened once again, and that has happened once and for all, twice in one season. It's another record defeat. It seems like it's kind of a reoccurring theme this season because for 30 minutes I thought Cittadella were in the game. They were playing decent. I wouldn't say I think Spezia did show a lot of their qualities as expected. But once again, at the 30th minute mark, it was 0-0. Then 15 minutes later, it was 3-0. So like right like that, like a magic wand, it just seems like it melts like ice cream in the sun. So were you able to watch this match, and how did you see this match, or at least the first half, let's say?
No, I agree with your vision of the game of the first half, because it happened like it was the game in Bari. But in Bari, the team conceded a goal in the first 10 minutes. But for the rest of the first half, the team played a good game. But when the team have to score goal or make an important chance, there isn't the feelings in the players to create some big chances. And but the team didn't play a bad game in the first half in Bari. The same thing happened in La Spezia, because the team showed a good performance in the first 30-35 minutes. But when the team there is a negative episode, such as the first goal for Spezia, there is a breakdown. I don't know. the mentality of the team is not so good to assimilate a negative episode like a goal, like a penalty, like maybe a sent off, maybe when there is a negative episode, it's like the lights turn off. Everybody in the pitch turn off the switch off the mentality, and the opposition who can do everything they want. But in the first 30 minutes, the team show a good mentality that can make some chances there, or maybe Cittadella could lose in Spezia, because the Spezia is the third team of Serie B, has a lot of good players, but the team could not lose it in this way. This is the big problem, but I was so shocked because in Bari, in the first half, Cittadella lose 3-0, but in the second half there was a good reaction, and the team, it was so near to make a 3-3 and an important draw. But in the Spezia, in the second half with 3-0, didn't show a good reaction, but not a good reaction, a minimal reaction, because Spezia scored another 2 goals in 20 minutes, 5-0, and this is the big problem for me, because as in the game against Juve Stabia, Cittadella scored the first goal, then Juve Stabia made the comeback 2-1, but in the last 10 minutes of the first half, the team has had a good reaction. They gained a penalty, Pandolfi made the 2-2, and they was and they said, oh yeah, this team is growing because it has a good reaction. It had a good reaction, that it was the main focus of the season of Cittadella, because in every game that there was a negative episode, Cittadella suffered the episode and then lost a game or lost some points during their path in the tournament. But in Lo Spezia, the team made 3 steps back, not 1 step forward, and then 5-0 is a heavy defeat, and I don't know if the team has some players that, una guida, a leader in the team that can bring the team during the games to make to have a reaction. And yes, in this period, Cittadella has a lot of injuries, important injuries, because in my opinion, Vita and Pavan are 2 fundamental players.
I agree.
And not only for a technical side of the game, because they are good players. Vita, for me, in my opinion, is the best player for Cittadella throughout the last year, but also they are a leader in the pitch, because in this period, due to these injuries, Dal Canto has to put very young players like Piccinini, Cecchetto, D'Alessio, Tronchin, a lot of players that are going to play this year, the first season in Serie B. They are 21 years old, 22 years old, and in this moment, it is important to have some leaders, some guys in the pitch for these young players.
Yeah, and also, kind of we'll kind of talk about the defensive line a little later when we get to the game against Cremonese, but also the notice, in the back line, Dal Canto's been having to start, Stefano Negro, who hasn't played since April, as well as Capardossi, who's just, signing for the team and still kind of regaining that fitness. It is still, I agree with you. With the mentality is definitely something that's really struggling at the moment, because we've seen in the past with the Cittadella, it doesn't matter who they're playing against. It doesn't matter how much quality the other team may have regards to them, they will give a fight. They'll give 100% all the time, and they'll make it tough. They'll make it, really gritty. It just seems like that they've kind of lost that spark. And this is not only that it happened in Bari, it also happened in Carrara against Carrarese, when they were 3-0 down at halftime. I think that was probably that was just not a good performance all around. In Bari, there was, like you said, a second half response. In La Spezia, there was none. They actually did not get a single shot on target in the second half. It just seemed like it was it was nothing. Like I said, ice cream in the sun. So it's once again another record defeat. I wrote the article on CittaCalcioUsa.com saying that it was the worst start to a pro season after 16 games with 13 points. That is the lowest Cittadella has ever had. Although in professional club history, let's make that clear, it's all of the data I could pull from transfermarket.com. So there could be perhaps a time where they had less than, I think actually in the 89-90 season, so a long time ago, but that was still when they had 2 points per win. So they still had a better record than that. And yes, technically they should have 14 points because of the Pisa results, so it kind of skews it a little bit, but we're going based off the book on that record. I want to also, we're talking about, kind of, melting under the pressure and unable to come back. I've been actually tracking what Cittadella's record like when they concede, and currently right now this season, when Cittadella concedes the first goal, when they go down behind the match, they are currently 0-1-8. So 0 wins, 1 draw, 8 losses when they concede the goal. That one draw came against Pisa, which it won't show in the official record sheets, but I still count that because I don't think, maybe I'm a little biased for Cittadella, but, I don't think that De Sogo's substitution really made that big of an impact to skew the game. So I still count that as a draw. Yeah. But how, Carlo, I want to ask you, how do you think they could fix this problem, what we're saying, mentality? Because when they go down a goal, it seems like they can't get a response for whatever reason. How can they kind of turn this around in a sense?
It's not an easy question, because I think that everybody in the staff are searching the answer to that question. So first of all, as I told you before, in the game against Juve Stabia, there was a response after the 2-1 scored with a bicycle, amazing kick by
unbelievable.
And this kind of goal, that Forino goal, my yellow goal, are a symbol of how much unlucky is Cittadella this season, because I think that Forino are not going to make another goal in the next year. Maiello the same, but in during the game against Juve Stabia, there was a response. I hope that Dal Canto and this staff are trying to get that kind of mentality. And the team rewatched again that game, because it's important that when the team concede a goal, didn't have to think that, okay, the opposition scored a goal, now the game is finished. No, the game is long. There are another half. You can score in the 90 minutes of the game. There are maybe some corners, some free kick, some penalties. So the main focus are the mentality thing inside the changing room, because maybe during the break, Dal Canto has to touch the right side of the mentality of the team. And in my opinion, Pavan and Vita are two leaders, and during the game they can help the young guys, and I don't know. It's hard because Cittadella hasn't too many players with a lot of experience in Serie B. Serie B, it's a hard tournament.
Yes.
It's long. You can have a great start like Cittadella in last season and a bad finish. You can go from downstairs to upstairs in 3 games, and in this moment, Cittadella has to how can you say ask and find 2 or 3 players when the game is going to the wrong direction, and pass the ball to these players. Maybe they can keep the ball, they can take foul, they can make a dribbling, maybe such another maybe find these players in the game, in the pitch, that can help the other guys with an highlight and dribbling, something that can switch on the mentality of the other players. In this moment, it's not easy, but I think that these players could be Pandolfi for the offensive side, Vita if he can play against Cremonese in midfield, and as you said before, Stefano Negro has come back in the last 3 games, and is so important for the defense of Cittadella, because he has physicality, he has also quality. It's a very all-around defensive man, and I think that he could. I hope that he could play a lot of games and he can have another injury, because he's when Negro didn't play for the team, Cittadella shown this fragility in the defensive side, like against Carrarese, Sassuolo, and other games during the last season and this season.
Yes.
And it's not easy to find a solution in this moment, because there are a lot of problems, injuries, mentality, standings. Cittadella didn't win a game at home since last January.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It's as Marchetti said, it's the worst moment in the last 8 years, and maybe the January transfer market could help the team and to add some players with experience, as happened in 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just, going back to like just the bad luck. Man, like I feel like everything that could have gone wrong this year for Cittadella has gone wrong. With the 8 straight defeats, like just something like out of a movie, really. Like you couldn't write that script any better. And like the fact that like I was there to witness it against Pisa, the 8th straight loss. Like I was, that was crazy. And then going to just some games this season has just been just so wacky. Like the Salernitana match, giving up 2 goals in added time. You go to the Pisa game where it was a 1-1. It was a good result on the pitch for Cittadella, but then a small mistake in the team sheet, and all of a sudden that's a 3-0 defeat, which could have both big implications. That 1 point come the end of the season.
I hope that this point could not affect the standings of Cittadella in the final game,
and also at the top of the table, because what if, because as it stands right now, Pisa are leading Spezia by 1 point. If that result stood against Cittadella, Spezia would have been in second place, and that could have a big impact on promotion. You got the home loss against Frosinone, which was now which officially set the record for longest streak at home without a win. And
Cosenza, the game against Cosenza with the goal of
yeah,
Cassano.
the
It was
VAR.
offside.
The
The
VAR
VAR.
where that was Dal Canto's first game. That was, they Cittadella really dominated that match. They had so many opportunities to score, and then Pavan unlucky, just offside, wrong place, wrong time. You got the Sampdoria game where I think it was Tessiore who had a big chance to score. He missed.
Right.
And obviously now like the Juve Stabia Bari match, just two like just unreal goals. I think the Foligno bicycle kick was just like that's kind of what happens when the team isn't going right, when
Yes.
you're in the relegation fights. These things happen, and the vice versa happens when you're in the promotion chase. If you think back to Inter of last year where they won the Scudetto, just a lot of things were just going in the right direction for them, whether it was penalties or last minute goals, just things going in their favor. That's what happens when you're in a promotion or relegation battle. But there are still now 4 games remaining in 2024, and hopefully Cittadella could turn this page.
Yes.
Because this has just been truly a year of nightmare. Let's move on because a few days ago, Marchetti and Gabrielli spoke to the media. Marchetti
Yes.
kind of dropped a bombshell saying that he said he was willing to resign. He offered to resign to Gabrielli because of this, horror streak. And he said, he doesn't recognize the team anymore and he just wants the best for Cittadella. So he offered to resign, which Gabrielli said he won't be doing next day. But were you able to talk to Marchetti or Gabrielli during those interviews, and how was kind of that going along? What'd you think of it?
Yes, and my colleagues, and Enrico Leo and Simone Prai. Simone Prai called Marchetti on Monday. It was on Monday after the defeat against Spezia, and so Marchetti said that he was the first person to he assumes the responsibilities of this moment to isolate the team, the changing room from all the criticals, not
yeah, that's right.
Criticals is right, no?
Yeah. That's what that's what I had in my notes. Like, we could talk about this a little more, but
Yes.
he did.
And then he said that so he loves Cittadella. Marchetti is the creator of this Cittadella place, the magic that he gave during the years, and he said that for love of Cittadella, because he loves so much Cittadella, he went to Gabrielli, to the president Gabrielli, and he said to him that if could help the team, it could help everybody, I resign my job. And Gabrielli obviously didn't accept his resignment, but there are words from person that you can feel that he loves so much Cittadella, and for Cittadella he will give his heart. He will give his heart for Cittadella to take Cittadella out of relegation zone. But Marchetti is the person that created this magic environment, following the principles of Cittadella, that just in Cittadella Cittadella follows these principles of working, the ethical work, maybe just to didn't spend a lot of money, to take a person as a manager and to give a lot of faith, like he did for Gorini. And in my opinion, it was so hard for Marchetti to decide to say to Gorini that he lost his job.
That's right. He did say
think
that it was the hardest decision of his life, of his career.
For all these things, from the start of the season until now, I think that he said that thing to resign his job because maybe it want to give a signal to the environment, to the fans, to the team, to the society, that he will do everything to make Cittadella rise again.
Yeah.
But Gabrielli talked the day after, on Tuesday, and Enrico Leo called Gabrielli. He said obviously that Marchetti will not go to he will stay in Cittadella. Absolutely, Marchetti for him is the best person to take his role, to make the director. But but he said also that the fans has not to criticize the team, because for Marchetti and for Gabrielli there are a lot of bad voices that are surrounding the team in this moment. They want that the fans stay united and they stay with the team. This is it's not easy because the team is in the relegation zone, but in this moment the lot of the fans are so important, especially in this moment. And I hope that Cittadella fans could receive these words in the right way, not in a bad way, because it's not so easy that every fan could take these words in the right way, because a lot of fans are saying, but we are not happy, we didn't win a game until since the last January, and these kind of things. So it's not easy. And Gabrielli said that Cittadella has relegated in 2015, sorry. And
yes.
So he said, we have just relegated 9 years ago, but the year later, in 2026, Cittadella has come back in Serie B. So the fans have to have faith to Marchetti, to Gabrielli in this moment. But it's not an easy moment for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And, that was like a little bit of a reassurance from Gabrielli at the end, because he said, if they do go down to Serie C, they won't be in any financial difficulties, saying that, we won't fold or go down to Serie D like, some other clubs have when they've been relegated. So that was a little bit of, good to hear. But I mean, yeah, that really kind of caught me off guard, where Marchetti kind of said, like, I think I don't think it's a question that if he's not committed to Cittadella, because he's been here since 20 years, and he's given everything for this. He even turned down an offer from Napoli a few seasons ago to be the sporting director there, because he trusts this project, he loves the project, and he'll give everything for this. So I think it's really good that Marchetti said, blame me, put the criticism on me, because now it is, because I think another problem of this mentality is just, I think there's just so much pressure on these players, especially at home, to win a game, because it's just kind of in the back of their mind, like, no wins at home since January. So just given that sense of responsibility, I think it's good that Marchetti kind of eased telling everybody, like, look, don't blame the players, blame me. Let the players play freely, and let them kind of express who they are and what the Cittadella is all about. I think that was good to see. But yeah, that was quite an eventful a few days, and I think it kind of put a little worry into the fans, just given that could this project be sinking before our eyes. But um, that's thank you for that little update insight on what really happened, because that was very, very interesting. But I know you're kind of running low on time, so let's get into the final part of this podcast, which is the Cremonese game this upcoming Sunday at the Stadio Pier Cesare Tombolato, December 15th, Sunday, 3 p.m. Italy time. That's 9 a.m. Eastern. So once again, another Sunday morning game here in the United States. Grab the coffee, grab the cappuccino and brioche. My favorite, brioche de crema. And have a seat, watch the game. But interesting thing. So I'm writing an article pretty soon. It should be out soon for Trivenetogoal about kind of this taboo a little bit of Cremonese at the Tombolato, because Cittadella's problem has obviously this year been not winning at home. They haven't won a home game since January 13th against Palermo. But to make matters worse, against this Sunday, Cittadella has never beaten Cremonese at home in a Serie B match. In fact, they are winless against Cremonese in the last 8 meetings at the Tombolato. Their last win against the Grigio Rossi at home at the Tombolato came all the way in 2016, where that was in the Coppa Serie C quarterfinals, I believe it was. But Carlo, I wanted to ask, how do you see this match, and how can also Cittadella kind of deal with these injuries in the back? We still haven't heard from Dal Canto, which I assume it's going to be on Saturday. So he'll give an update on the injuries. But how do you see this, really another difficult challenge for Cittadella at home?
Yes, it's a very hard challenge for the team. For firstly, we have to see how the team has which response the team will give after the defeating the Spezia, first of all. Then Cremonese has a lot of quality players, maybe some old players like Vasquez, but in Serie B, Vasquez made the difference in every moment. But Cremonese spent a lot of money during the January transfer market. They changed the coach to Stroppa, then the club changed Stroppa with Corini and not Gorini, but Corini lasted 3 or 4 matches, and now Stroppa has come back to train Cremonese. In my opinion, Stroppa is not so. It's not so modern. He didn't propose a modern football, quality football, but he's good to use this kind of players for Serie B with a lot of experience, a lot of quality, and it's not an easy match. In my opinion, it's not so strong like Spezia, and I hope that in any way Stella could make a draw or a point, because just to make a point against a strong opposition for mentality will be a very important upset, and I hope so, but it's not easy. And for the injuries, I know that I think that you know that Rabbi didn't play the game because as the fifth yellow card, and he can play the game.
Yes.
But Angeli will come back. It's important because in this moment there aren't too many defenders. and is a good option for Dal Canto. I know that Vita could come back, but during on Conferenza Stampa on Saturday, Dal Canto will say if he is available for Sunday or not. I hope that he could come back, because, as we said before, it's so important for the team. And the other injuries, Maniero, Tessiore, will not play because they are injured. And then De Zogos and Cecchetto are doubtful.
Yeah.
So we have to see the next days if they could come back for the Cremonese game. And I think that Dal Canto will play again with the 3-5-2, and in the offensives, the two strikers. I think that he will confirm Magrassi and Pandolfi by the first minute. And in the midfield position, Tronkin will play.
Branca should come back too.
Branca, and it depends by Vita, because if Vita could play on Sunday, maybe could play in the center of the midfield with Tronkin and the Branca. And in my opinion, in this period, Casolari will not play a lot of minutes, because Dal Canto in the interview post-match against Juve Stabia said that in this moment he has to put players that have a lot of strong. They are strong. They are powerful. It's like they have to fight in the midfield. But I think that Casolari could have an important impact during the game. I hope so, because I like Casolari.
Me too.
He's a good player,
I think he's a lot more technical. So, sorry, I just wanted to say, like,
yes.
well, it's very technical, kind of like what we were saying, but against Sassuolo the last time we spoke. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, and I think that in the three defenders could be Negro. I don't think that Pavan could play next game. So Negro, Salvi, and there will be one player, and he could be or Capradossi or Angeli. It depends by the fitness of Capradossi, because he played in Spezia another 15 minutes, then he trained another week with the rest of the team, and I don't know, maybe he could start from the first minute, and this could be the squad for Cremonese game, and it is at home. As you said, there are a lot of pressure in the players, because when you win a game since January in front of your fans, every time you will play in Tombolato, there are a pressure on you. There are a lot of pressures on you, and the Marchetti has did a great thing to assume all the responsibilities. And I hope that after these words, players could have less pressure on their shoulders, because it's important to make a point, because you know the standings are so terrible. 13 points in 16 games. As you said before, the bad start in Cittadella, for Cittadella in Serie B. The last bad record, for the last worst record, was in 2002 and in 2015, from 14 points, and the last of the season, the final game of the season, Cittadella relegated in Serie C. So I really hope that Cittadella could come back, make some points, and because the last two games of the year not the last two games of the last two games of the first part of the season, will be against Reggiana and Südtirol, and there will be two fundamental games. Cittadella have to make minimum 4, but 6 points, from 4 to 6 points to stay near the playout spots, and then to quit the relegation zone.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I wanted to, also just say, because even though this has been, we've talked like a lot about a lot of negative stuff in this podcast, obviously because Cittadella currently are in last place and, having a historically bad season. But I do think after this Cremonese game, if they could get a point in this, I think it would be good. But the last 3 matches of the year of 2024 is at home against Reggiana, away against Südtirol on Boxing Day, and then finally on the 29th against Palermo at home. So even though 2 games are at home, a place where they haven't won since January, I still think these are winnable games, as well as the in Italian you say the scontri diretti, no? Like the against Südtirol, which should be a really important game. And if they can avoid at least defeat in those 3 games, which I think they can, I think that would be a good stepping stone going into the new year and going into the winter market, where it's going to be very important. But before we go, I just want to read the standings. Obviously, is Cittadella and Südtirol occupying the bottom of Serie B with 13 points. Frosinone Cosenza with 17-18 with 16 points. Tied on 17 points is Modena, Sampdoria, and Salernitana. 18 points is Mantova and Reggiana. So still a lot of seasons to go. I was actually looking that, I agree with Dal Canto after the match in La Spezia. He said, we got to start winning games, because if we don't, the table is just going to keep continuing to grow. And I think you saw that last year with Lecco, where they started okay. They actually had more points at this point of the season than Cittadella. I believe they had 16 or 17 after 16 games, and they finished bottom, and they by a long shot. So it's definitely important to not fall behind, and I think that really starts with these last 4 games of 2024. So that's kind of all I have for my notes for this upcoming game against Cremonese, or just in general. Carlo, do you have anything you want to add to the game against Cremonese, or just in general about the situation of Cittadella before we wrap things up?
No, I said to the fans, of the people that love Cittadella, to stay close to the team in this moment is not easy. I know, because as we talked a lot of negativities during this podcast, but it's important, I think, for the team, for the coach, that all the environment is close to them. And I know that it's not easy. I hope that Dal Canto could bring some positive, some extra stuff, some extra energy to the team. It was, I think that the last 2 games of the first part of the season against Reggiana and Südtirol will be very, very important. And for that games, Cittadella will need the support of everybody, from the media stamp, from media, from fans, from all the people surrounding Cittadella, because it's important in this moment. It's the first time in the last 10 seasons that Cittadella are passing leaving this moment in the relegation zone, and because the fans was used to stay in the playoff spot in the middle of the table. Now it's so different for everybody, but especially for this cause of for these things, for all these things, it's important that everybody stay united, because Cittadella is the main focus for everybody, and the and everybody wants that Cittadella stay in Serie B firstly. And now is the moment to stay together, to stay united. I hope that Cittadella could come back and make some very important points, starting from Sunday game against Cremonese.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's definitely not the moment where it's definitely a struggle for Cittadella fans, especially in this 2024. But I think, yeah, like you said, support is very important, and as they say, tutti allo stadio. So that will be very important. But that's kind of all I have for right now, Carlo. I know you have to get going soon. So once again, a big thank you to you for joining this podcast. It's always a fun time having you. It's always a pleasure having you. Why don't you tell everyone where they could find your work for Il Corriere del Veneto, and on Instagram if they want to follow, or where they could find your work?
Thank you, Jake. It was a pleasure for me to stay with you, to have some very important chat about Cittadella. So it's very nice every time I talk with you, and so thanks again, and yes, Forza Cittadella sempre.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, you could follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at CittaCalcioUSA, and as well as our website, CittaCalcioUSA.com, for news, articles, all that stuff revolving the world of Cittadella. Also, check us out on Trivenetogoal, where I believe we just upload the new article is published. It is about the Cittadella's upcoming game against Cremonese. Improve your Italian, just like me. So you could read in Italian, just improving together. So check us out at trivenetogoal.it. But for me, that is going to be it. Me and Carlo Cecino, thank you for listening to this podcast. We will see you next week, recapping this game against Cremonese. And as always, Forza Citta. Thank you for listening to the CittaCalcioUSA show. If you liked it, please share and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CittaCalcioUSA. See you next time, and remember, Forza Citta.